time to get grimy.
Hello there, welcome and thank you for joining us in this edition of Spectrum Vida. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside me is Albertita, and of course, who wasn't here last week, but our new co-host.
Our new co-host.
Nah,
I was part of the plan.
He was part of the plan. He's going to be here last week. Now he's here this week, so get used to his
But it's
face.
okay because I don't think you should get used to too much of our faces because we will be rotating.
It'll be a game of musical chairs.
Yeah,
but minus some people. Addition, some people depends on the weekly topic. Spectrum Vida is, of course, a weekly talk show, web show based on the sports, entertainment, lifestyle stuff, whatever we find interesting, want to talk about. I don't know if you guys can join us as well. So today's show, what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, first,
you want to start off?
Where were you at, anyways?
Oh, okay. So I was at Disney World, so I want to talk about a little bit about that. But before that, what really grinds my gears so much?
Garrett was a very angry man sometimes.
No, I'm
so
not.
You guys know.
It's just I've been getting all these magazine subscriptions.
Okay.
Do you guys get magazines?
You got to cover up the address.
No,
you don't want to get more magazine subscriptions.
I get all these magazine subscriptions, but when did I subscribe?
You know what? That happens to
I
me
got
too.
a Maxim the other day. I got an ESPN.
You didn't get Men's Health, remember?
Men's Health? Okay, I appreciate the magazines. Trust me. I just don't want to get charged or get a secret charge later.
You know what? It's funny too. My mom gets like a bunch of like novella magazines too. She has nothing to do. I don't even watch these stuff.
And then I saw Latina today. And I was like,
she gets like,
why did I get a Latina?
like,
and then my mom's like, oh, that's mine. That one did get over.
Is that like the first sign of identity theft? When you get like these weird magazine subscriptions, you think?
Is it?
You better look into it.
I remember whatever.
If anybody knows if this is a warning
comment
sign,
below, please.
Comment below this video and let us know. I remember David, he mentioned that he had identity theft and he started getting weird mails in the mailbox, and that's when it was the first like sign of like.
Well,
hey,
I don't really get really
thing.
bad mail.
Just
it's
magazines?
just magazines.
I remember for a while.
I mean, as long as you're not paying for it, right?
I remember a while when I would go to Best Buy and buy something. That's you want a magazine subscription? I'm like, yes or no, and then I'm getting magazines. So I don't know. Maybe something you bought or knowingly.
Did you go to Best Buy recently?
Did you click on the agree term?
For
maybe
Christmas, I went to Best Buy.
Maybe something like agree term. Maybe
you might want to see that little asterisk on your receipt because you might get charged.
You bought this PS3 game. Now, did you buy like an NBA 2K?
Which I don't mind because
2K4.
I know I don't look it, but I'd be taking his Men's Health and.
Oh man, I've been waiting all week. Like I did my Men's Health.
I got all the Men's Health.
I've been looking for all the tips.
So as y'all know, let's jump into the show.
You can tell it hasn't worked.
It's great. Really. I want to talk about this week's weird news story. This is coming out of Connecticut, not out of Florida like last week. I guess a man is now facing criminal charges because he's irate with a $50 haircut. So,
didn't you get a $30 haircut?
No, you know what's funny?
$50 haircut.
I was over a friend's house. His uncle was there, and he's all like, "Hey, didn't you pay $40 for your haircut?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's all, "Oh, I hear you can sue because some guy sued for some guy got a $50 haircut." Yeah. So
reports a man who was unhappy with his haircut faces criminal charges after police say he became enraged and threw items around a Connecticut salon. Man, Alan Becker, who was 47. Becker kicked a hole in the salon wall, became hostile towards staff and customers, and threw a candle display and other items, then left. This is after he found out his haircut was $50. He was unhappy with it. Then he found out, no, we're charging you $50 for it. So I want to ask you guys, have you guys been the recipient of a bad haircut?
All the
keep
time.
Keep it fresh?
Yeah, I keep it fresh, but all the time I get bad haircuts. It's just you got to know how to play with your hair a little bit.
I have only gotten a good haircut once in my whole life.
What?
Once. But all the other times, like people be like, "Dang, Albert, you changed up your look a lot." I'm not gonna lie to you. I get a lot of bad haircuts. I'm forced to change it. I'm gonna work with it
because he tries to get free haircuts.
Is that why?
Well, I try to get. But keep in mind, I do cheap out on my haircuts. I know they say don't go to those $8.
What's that average cost? You pay $8?
I pay if I refuse to pay $10 or more on the haircut.
And me, I'll go up to 20. But when I pay 20, that's including tip. Is I want the best haircut possible.
But I do go get a nice haircut at least once a year.
Yeah,
and that's $40. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. When I go out, I go out. But if you do the math, I think I can afford one haircut a month with that
with $40. I know those guys who go every week to their barber and get lined up, make sure.
You must have a pretty good one because you've been having that haircut since I known you, and
bro,
it stays the same.
Don't worry about my hair.
You will not reveal the secrets today.
No, just like you didn't reveal your TV spoiler secrets last week. So, Albert, what do you got for today?
Well, I want to start off with that was 3. The trolls.
I'm gonna let you know now. I got a little feedback from last week's show. It's a little too wrestling heavy, man.
Is that what I heard?
I heard a
Yeah.
lot about that. Get it
Yeah,
wrong.
good thing I'm here.
You know
because
what's
I'll,
funny?
I'll set you straight
You know-
because no one cares about NXT.
You know what's funny? I didn't think it was enough wrestling here. But it's
Says the
okay.
man wearing a Rick Rude t-shirt.
I know.
It's gonna be a little couple of topics real
Okay.
quick, and then of course at the end I'm gonna do my Feed the Trolls segment for all them trolls out there. So I do want to start off with just the headlines. Samoa Joe quit TNA. Me and Guillermo used to watch TNA a lot
For
back
Samoa
in the,
Joe?
back in the heyday when
I watched some Mojo.
For
yeah,
Samoa Joe.
and he was a Samoa Joe fan. With that said, do you think he makes it to WWE? Do you think he gets a chance? to
I
make
think
to
he gets a
WWE?
chance. I think he goes to NXT. I just don't think he's a big enough name to get to.
You think it goes straight to
WWE.
NXT?
Yeah. Well,
Really? Damn.
and before,
That's Samoa Joe to NXT. That's
before we
a
get-
slap in the face.
before
I
we
think.
get Alex's
I think
opinion,
so.
he actually said last week that Kevin Owens was a poor man Samoa Joe.
I don't know
Now,
who Kevin
if you
Owens
bring
is.
in,
exactly.
if you bring
Stop
in,
talking about it.
if you do bring in Samoa Joe, then what do? You do
Then you bump him up to SmackDown, and Kevin Owens is still a poor man Samoa Joe.
And then I want to talk about what do you call it? Staffgate. Because now what's going on around is that supposedly CM Punk lied on the podcast that he admitted that he had a big staph infection, on his back.
Was it the Art of Wrestling podcast?
Yeah, Art of Wrestling.
Colts back, Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
No.
But apparently the doctor is suing. WWE is saying they got video footage.
This is the
proving-
WWE's head doctor
Yeah.
saying that.
Who cares?
It was a-
proving
yeah.
that he
Here's
had
your
staph
answer.
infection.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Really?
Who cares?
Honestly,
CM Punk is in UFC
But
now.
I think it says a lie. If the guy's lying about that staph infection, why should I believe
Well-
about his MMA jiu-jitsu?
Well, honestly, I think
That's what I was trying
I
to
think
get at.
You'll see his MMA jiu-jitsu
I
when
think the first thing you should learn from CM Punk is this guy exaggerates like crazy, man. I think he's always exaggerating. So, I mean, of course, why would he not have
he's a character. You
Yeah.
don't know. It's like Chelsea. You don't know when he's real and when he's not. He walks out of a what's that outside the lines in Canada.
Yeah.
But then now he's like the weekly guest.
Yeah.
Every week I see
And
him
then,
on
and
there.
too, honestly, that podcast, it's two guys who
Our best
Grew up
friends.
best friends and two guys who didn't make it. Well, obviously, who left WWE in bad terms, right?
Yes.
Was it Coco Bands with Scotty Goldman or something like that? He was
Yeah.
introduced to a weekly web show on YouTube for WWE, and then just let him go. So these are two guys of animosity towards the company. Of course, they're gonna badmouth it because they pretty much know that their ship is sailed already. So, I mean,
Okay, so
Staffgate, no Staffgate, whatever.
Who cares?
okay, who cares? The last thing I want to talk about was Brock Lesnar, which kind of ties in with their 5-round MMA. Is
Their web show?
He's still been his contract's coming up, but reports are coming out that he has had a couple of concussions and
Recently
yeah,
or over time?
over the span of his WWE career time. And so they're saying now, well, like
That shooting star press at WrestleMania 19.
Imagine, is it smart for him for his age and that history of concussion to really dance around with the UFC? Or he's so red hot right now in WWE, he should just stay in WWE. Could you finish the run?
My personal opinion: how many people Chuck Liddell fought till he couldn't even stand anymore?
War until he
Yeah.
got knocked out by a guy with a broken hand.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's when
I
he's
mean, like
okay.
Brock Lesnar has nothing to worry about. If Chuck Liddell can do it, he could do it.
But what's the point? I mean, you got nothing to prove. You won the title. He was a
Money.
Yeah, but is he get more money in WWE or
Whatever will
think
give
it's
him more.
starting to-
And
Unless he's getting like $2
that's your
million,
answer.
$2 million a fight for the UFC, then yeah. But I think he's making $2 million just cruising, working 3 days a year for UFC. I mean for WWE. So why if it ain't broke,
Whatever-
don't fix it, bro.
Wherever the money is.
If it ain't
Man,
broke,
that's your
don't
answer.
fix it.
I hope you're hungry, Guillermo, because I'm about to feed you right now.
All right.
Feed me more.
For my feed the troll question, this week,
This is pretty wrestling heavy. Let's go.
Bautista is going to be the new villain in 007 movie. So technically, he's about to have two
Dave
back-to-back blockbuster movies.
Okay, yeah.
Is
it's
he
not
on?
like-
He's well. That's why. Hold
Okay.
on. Let's save it. Is he on the rate to the Rock level?
No.
Or can he even surpass the Rock level?
You can't even surpass Hogan, bro.
Well, technically, already surpassed Hogan.
Because
Because,
you know
I don't know
what?
if you know this, but what was that? What was
Star
it?
Commander
Star
or
Commander.
Yeah,
did
but you know
not
what?
beat Guardians of the
Something like that, I
Galaxy.
It was Star Commander starring Hulk Hogan. It was the Nanny starring Hulk Hogan. It isn't Guardian of the Galaxy starring Dave Bautista. It isn't James Bond starring Dave Bautista. He's just a character.
So I'm
in all his
guessing you're not
movies.
warming up to Bautista yet.
No, I mean he's doing good for him.
I just
I
don't
think he's great. I mean, as the star
no,
power.
no,
for the
David
roles
Rock.
he's playing, playing, he's
I think
perfectly fine.
He hasn't even beat Stone Cold yet. I mean, Stone Cold had more like at least a couple of straight to DVD starring roles. And
Let's just say this: Batista will never star in a role
yeah,
and be successful in it.
And then next year's Blockbuster summer hit.
Yeah,
starring
really.
Bautista, watch, you guys will be eating your words.
So
Hercules
yeah.
too.
So speaking of really bad movies and straight to DVD, we obviously it's Oscar week. We have the review of the Oscars next week on our show. But
So now we're in our waiting for coffee.
This is
segment.
waiting for
I
coffee.
don't want people to think that we're in wrestling now.
Snap,
That
waiting
was
for
literally
coffee.
exactly.
Okay, so the Golden Razzies Award, which is celebrates the worst of Hollywood, always takes place the day before the Oscars released. Now, you guys want to hear the winners or losers?
Winner, losers.
Just worst picture, and
Worst
worst
picture?
actors and actresses.
So worst picture went out to Kirk Cameron, Saving Christmas.
Sounds about right.
Fellow nominees were Left Behind, Legend of Hercules, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Perfect.
Age of Extinction.
They always
Worst
get it right.
director, no question here, went to Michael Bay for
Whoa, wow.
Transformers:
That
Age
should
of
be every year.
Extinction. He beat out the likes of
hey, we don't like Michael Bay.
yeah. Worst
He ruins things.
Yeah. Worst actor went to Kirk Cameron for Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas.
Sounds about
Worst supporting actor went to Kelsey Grammer for Expendables 3, which I didn't really see, but
right. I didn't know Kelsey Grammer came out.
neither did I. And oh no, actually no. Transformer, yeah, he won all those. He's in all those movies. Also, worst actress went to Cameron Diaz for The Other Woman and Sex Tape.
Didn't see
Neither
either.
did I. Worst
No.
supporting actress went
That
to
sounds about right.
the worst supporting actress went to Megan Fox in Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles.
I'm
She
not gonna lie
just
to you.
runs in slow
I think
motion.
this
Thank
award
you.
show is probably the most accurate one. Where like I think
There's no debate about it.
There's
It
no
is
real
really
debate.
good.
You know what? That's right.
They're pretty bad.
That's right.
Worst screenplay went to Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, and also worst screen combo went to Kirk Cameron and his ego. So it looks like the Razzies had a bone to
That's
pick
a
with
horrible
Kirk
combo.
Cameron. That's for the Golden Razzies. Of course, check them online. And of course, the Oscars will have that recap next week. One more bit of movie news. I want to talk about superhero movie news because I think we're all kind of superhero nerds. We had a pretty long conversation about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And
That's
your
right.
Spider-Man club you had with our sound
Yeah,
engineer,
me
Steven
and
Ross,
Steven
though.
were, yeah.
Which you
Matter
want to
of
admit to, by the way.
uh,
I asked him off camera. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Steven, don't you lie to me. We met every like Monday or something. You brought your cards over. Remember when you used to bring the Spider-Man cards?
No, I don't.
Oh man,
remember
you guys
that.
are making me look like a liar out here.
So obviously that's the Marvel end of the superheroes cinematic universe. Also, Warner Brothers and DC has theirs with the Batman versus Superman, and of course they're assembling the Justice League now. But first photos of Jason Mona of Aquaman debut this week. What you guys thoughts on it? You guys like it? Hate it? Like it? Aquaman? I'm never been an Aquaman fan, but
I have never really been a DC fan other than Batman. I'm one of those guys. But every single time I thought about Aquaman, I would cringe because I was like, oh, I don't know how you're gonna do that. Not only that, when I first heard they're trying to make an Aqua movie, I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm not gonna be able to laugh the whole time.
well, first of all,
Picturing the beach-
Entourage already did it.
Yeah.
So.
And Outros did a
But-
very good job on it.
The
got a
nice,
roller
that
coaster
nice
ride
little
out of
10
it.
seconds that you saw of it. But I thought after seeing the picture, I honestly think this is the only way you can make it where people can respect Aquaman.
Yeah.
I always thought Aquaman was gay.
Is that a-
And
that's,
sorry,
and that-
sorry.
that's where we're going. First of all, it's Green Lantern that came out. That was
No, no, I always thought Aquaman was gay.
Is that like you're contributing to Aquaman? Gay. But I like the whole because Jason Momoa did the Paul.
yeah,
thing. I
that's
like
what I'm saying.
that,
It kind of goes with it. It's more respectable, I think. The way,
more of a tough,
especially that they picked him too.
yeah, more of a tough guy type of thing. I like it as well. But that is it for just for the movie beat. What do you think?
But before we wrap up, waiting for coffee, I did want to do one movie
Oscar-
review.
Oscar hype.
It's an Oscar hype, and that's the only reason I checked it out because I was looking at the nominees and I was like, what Whiplash? What is that? First of all, it has a J.K. Simmons. You might know him from the Spider-Man franchise
or the farmers commercials.
or the Farmers commercials. Anyways, I saw Whiplash. It was an awesome film. New time director.
What's about
Damien Chazelle.
Is it the dangers of drumming, right?
Yeah, the dangers of drumming. It's like pretty much like Drumline, but serious,
Yeah,
bro.
but good.
But good.
Like
Yeah,
you say-
but
that's what you
good,
say. It's like
but
Drumline,
good.
but
yeah,
it's like Drumline.
it's
minus
like
Nick
Drumline
Cannon.
if you
Oh, that's
put
what you're
a
saying.
good acting, directing, editing,
and minus Nick Cannon.
and minus Nick Cannon. But yeah, I just want to get my sugar packets out there. I want to give this one a 4.5 sugar packets. It's really good.
That's a pretty sweet coffee.
Yeah. That's really sweet coffee.
It's sweet coffee here.
I'm gonna be shaking on that coffee.
If you have a chance to go check it out, please check it out. I think this is a very underrated movie. It's not. It has a good pacing, so it doesn't feel like it's that long. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth checking out.
The sugar packets. I want Guillermo. What's your sugar packet on your overall trip to Disney World? Because your
Well,
life, you're born and raised in SoCal.
I was just gonna say,
Born and raised in
before we
SoCal.
end the show, I wanted, since you guys are talking about reviews, let me give you
Yeah.
a quick review. you're spoiled, and you're spoiled.
What? How am I spoiled?
Because Disneyland and California Adventure is all rolled up into Disney World. There you go, everybody. Avoid the long trip and stay here in Southern California.
Avoid Florida at all costs. Is that what you're
So
saying?
what's your sugar pack rating?
Oh,
on
sugar pack rating?
on Disney
Out of
World?
five?
Out of
Okay,
five.
let's be
Five
honest.
being super
For the
sweet,
first
of
time
course.
seeing Disney World, first time going to each park, I would say it's 4.5 sugar packets. But as the week continued,
You did the
because
whole go around again?
yeah, I went like about four times to each park.
Yeah.
After the first go around, you're like, man, I just want to go to this park and ride these rides and then go to this park. And you only get 3 fast passes per day, guys. 3 fast passes. That's it.
For every park?
You can only pick one park one day.
What?
And that's what your day is surrounded by.
Yeah.
So that's it. No more fast passes the entire day. 3 fast passes. So you guys are spoiled. I mean, once your hour is up on your fast pass, let's go to the next ride and get that fast pass.
Wow.
So overall, after those first days, I would say about 2 sugar packets.
2 sugar packets?
And for 2 sugar packets, I do not check
If you want to wait 2 hours at Toy Story Mania, go to California Adventure and wait 45 minutes.
2 sugar packets is not worth the trip to Florida for me.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And then 100 times more tourists in
Oh, yeah?
Florida. Over here, you get a bunch of locals. Everybody knows where to go, what to do. Over there, I don't know Portuguese. I don't know French. I don't know German. I hear the English people, and yeah, they have their accent, but I can understand them at least. But
Portuguese.
that's all you get is tourists that don't know where to go. So
But yeah,
Disney World for the local.
stick around. We're not done yet. We got 5 round MMA.
You're
so,
MMA fans, so stick around.
But if you're not, go ahead and just click on pause and
Or leave a
exit
comment
out.
or something. So thanks, guys.
Time to get grimy.
Hello, you all out there. Welcome to 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Mares, alongside me is Albert Cita. And look who's back after a month-long absence from the show.
I was on vacation, Disney
Guillermo
World.
Cita. Disney World, is that where you're at?
I was the last 2 weeks. The week before that, I was in Lancaster with my soccer tournament. So unfortunately, I couldn't be here.
Living life as more as I can say, right?
Yeah.
But just like we said in the other show, we're like the WWE. We keep on the show must go on.
You're right. You got a little
choking
emotional?
there.
Your brother's back? You happy to see your brother? Is that what it is?
It was a deep thing. I know for real. That came out of nowhere.
Calm down, Michael
I
Cole.
like the little brotherly love there. Today's show is brought to you by a fine line of sponsors. First of all, Rocking Green eco-friendly cleaning products. 5 Rounds clothing line, where I'm sporting today. You guys like the 5 Round MMA USA
Yeah,
shirt?
I was sporting mine the other couple of podcasts ago.
Yep, fine
And
line.
I have my Celtic soccer.
You'll get,
And
you'll
we
get
don't
represented.
we don't do plugins here.
Oh,
Sorry.
And of course, the
You
RMA
do WWE
Foundation.
plugins
The
all the time.
RMA Foundation said Ravishing Raccoon shirt. The RMA Foundation Redemption Martial Arts. Today's show, we're going to talk about the big heavy hitting subject, PEDs. We're an MMA show. We got to, at least one of these days, tackle the thing, right?
Fortunately, I did some peds,
Peds? PEDs?
PEDs this morning.
HGH.
So I'm feeling good.
And also, I want to talk about maybe the UFC overcompensating to the fans. So, but first of all, let's talk about the PEDs, the war against PEDs, the war on drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah, so
Dare.
the UFC had this big old press conference, and they showed it on Fox Sports 1, where they have the contract with.
Was it on
That's
ESPN?
No.
Was it on Channel 4, Channel 11, any of the
CNN.
Any highlights?
CNN.
No, it was just breaking news on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even finish the press conference because they had to return to their scheduled programming.
like a regional college basketball.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
It was Joe Silva, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did. See,
but-
I
yeah.
saw like little clips of it.
Before we get to the PED thing,
on the airplane, right? Just so
Yeah.
you guys know, you can actually watch Fox Sports 1.
Oh, really? On the airplane?
On the airplane.
so before we get to the PED, the UFC's handling PED, I want to talk about Anderson Silva, who's in the middle of this PED scandal,
Yeah.
right? Because it's kind of weird how it went from John Jones and drugs to Anderson Silva and PEDs, which he's more of a pariah now, isn't he? Like, oh, you did cocaine, oh, that's a problem. You did PEDs, how dare
yeah.
you? So
that's unforgivable.
Anderson Silva finally released a statement via Instagram. It's kind of weird. It was a great picture.
Didn't he
Like,
say, I don't know what to
It was
apologize?
kind of him training. It's an awesome picture, but so here's kind of a snippet for what he said. Anderson Silva on his PED failures, whatever. I do not know what to apologize for because I'm still waiting for the results and analysis from the specialists that are working to reveal the truth. Everything I took since my injury are being analyzed. I look for the truth as much as all those who were surprised with the results. I always play clean. I was never a cheater. In 18 years of my career, I never had any problems with exams. I want to say the time it takes to destroy a reputation is infinitely less than it is taken to build it. I am one who is the most eager to settle this situation. So Guillermo, yeah, we heard you from a while. Anderson Silva PEDs.
So this is the first time I hear this. To be honest, I heard the statement before that saying that he didn't do anything whatsoever. Now it's starting to sound like he did do something, but he didn't know what was going into his body because of the injury.
Thing. I'll just
so now, not only at first he was like denial. He's like, well, now I want to know what I tested positive for.
Yeah.
What caused me to test positive for? So that's what it sounded like to me. So it sounds like he didn't know what was going into his system. He had the trust in his doctors, and just that one slip up because he didn't know what was going into his system. He feels like he made a mistake.
I think the way from hearing different fighters and how they say it to me kind of breaks down. You're into two categories. One, you're blatantly cheating. Because
here's a needle, stick it in my butt type of thing.
Yeah.
That's a crude example.
You're either in that category or you're in the category is like, look, listen, I told my doctor I suffer from this, and this, and I have this, and that. Give me whatever. And it wasn't a thing about they didn't know if it was legal or not. They're like, look, my doctor gave it to me. I'm gonna turn a blind eye. He said it made me better.
Chael said the best. I mean, when you go to a doctor and you tell him your injuries or your hurt,
that's what I'm saying.
Chael says straight up, doctors will prescribe you what will help you.
Yeah,
they don't care.
They're not going to do any malpractice and give you stuff that's not going to help you. Of course, it's going to help you. It's just you got to do the research. Is this a performance enhancing drug?
And I just think those fighters are in that category. Don't bother to do the research.
Well,
and when you talk about full body contact, I mean, like I can just imagine how sore these guys are after fights.
The training,
the training alone.
Again, I know you guys don't like it. I always bring up wrestling, but people always talk about like there's like a drug problem in wrestling, but in reality, it's painkillers, man. I mean, those guys that are breaking their backs, stuff like that. And it's to use these other type of form of drugs to kind of.
Well, I remember back when baseball was trying to clean up their act. Well, it's a constant battle.
It's still an ongoing.
Yeah,
process.
But they said that they would hand out papers to all the players saying, "Hey, this is what."
Yeah, it's still an ongoing process.
This is what the type of drugs are banned on our ban list. But I guess some say, "Oh, well." They had the paper, but a lot of them weren't in English, or they were in English. So they're like Latin players, a lot of Korean players. That's why we saw a lot of influx of players who failed were all Latin players because they gave me a list. I don't know what these words are. So maybe should the UFC hand over each fighter a list? This is we cannot take.
I think so, especially with the injuries that they deal with. They need to recover because they gotta. I mean, they only get paid. There's very few that get paid aside from fighting. But they get paid per fight, so they have to fight. And if they're not in the main events, they're not getting paychecks. So that's how I see it. They go to the doctor and say, hey, my shoulder is killing me. Give me something that'll take care of this so I can fight in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, they don't know what's going into the system. They just told the doctor. Doctor said, here, this is good. This will help you out.
But I think the issue is more difficult than that because I think as technology gets better, so does the medical field gets more complicated. I mean, they be making stuff like before it used to be as simple as that needle stuff. I mean, I heard you can like get it's like those Listerine things and just put in your tongue, little strips, and that's. I mean, it's getting so people are making new strands.
Well, didn't Ray Lewis get in trouble for like some elk spray? On the bottom of his tongue. Like,
see what I mean?
No, but my point is that they're not doing it to get faster, to get stronger. They're doing
more for recovery.
Well, depending on who you ask.
But no, you guys were talking about two different groups. I think the group that we're talking about right now at this point is the ones that are injured. And no, I'm not trying to get an advantage over it. I'm just trying to deal with this injury.
Yeah, and you have some fighters too who are also taking unhealthy diuretics as well to try and cut weight.
And
so that's kind of I think a female fighter just got caught recently for a banned diuretic substance that she's trying to make weight, and that she got suspended too. I forgot the name, but yeah. So there's like maybe I think Ronda Rousey said, "Oh, you're bringing an extra weapon into the ring." I think it goes with the people. Okay, this is what shoot me up. I want to get bigger. I want to get faster. I want to get stronger. But as opposed to I need to heal up so I can go make the money, right?
Yeah.
So there is the two type of things. Like
I mean. Seth Rollins puts on his Twitter that he uses pro genetics for recovery, and I mean he wrestles at least like 5 times a week. I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
No, I've worked for him, and that's not illegal.
Back to MMA.
Yeah,
I just think as the fighters, they want to get back into the cage, but they got to do research too.
Yeah,
and that's what it really comes down to.
So now I want to jump to that because you talk about getting paid and like the risk versus rewards, with a term Dana White used. The UFC had that big old giant press conference. It's exclusively on Fox Sports. So now the
Those
UFC
are
will,
breaking news.
yeah, UFC will implement a random drug testing for fighters under contract who are in and out of competition starting July 1st. Isn't that kind of coincide with the Reebok deal kicking in July?
Yeah, the Reebok deal.
Is that
too.
part of the Reebok
I
deal?
guess they're like, well, if we're gonna start everything new, might as well start it that
Yeah.
day. Come on, guys. Let's not mix things up now.
So the UFC will look to implement some WADA, WADA standards when it comes to testing and punishment. WADA currently has a 4-year ban on some of their positive tests, but the UFC is kind of leaning towards a 2-year ban, if anything. So, and according to Lorenzo Fertitta, this is a quote from him: "For the good of the sport, the integrity, we are trying to do here what we needed to address the issue. We may not be training, but someone may show up to take a random sample." So,
yeah,
Guillermo, do you like this?
Yeah, it's about time. We got to take it a little bit more serious.
Can Cowboy Cerrone just be on his horse and all of a sudden one day the guys come to his ranch and, hey, we're going to drug test you? Is that what it is?
For other sports,
Yeah.
they do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you have off-season testing all the time.
Can Phil Davis be surfing in San Diego and say, hey, Phil, come over here. We're going to drug test you.
I think that's perfectly fine.
I think as long as you're a fighter under
contract,
contract, they should feel free to take a test whenever.
The only question is, like you talk about,
cheating is cheating, no matter when,
like
if
Vitor
you're surfing
Belfort,
or not.
Vitor Belfort
Yeah.
taking what's it called?
HGH?
HGH. I mean,
TRT.
is there going to be medical exemption
yeah.
list saying like, oh, because of this injury? Because you think about Anderson Silva, because that's who it all circles around with. He broke his bone. Come on, like how can you recover from that less than a year?
At his age too, right?
Yeah, at his age, without any medical help.
Dana White also tried to put like an argument towards that, saying like, look, if you can't fight like fair, even and you need that kind of stuff, then you shouldn't be fighting at all.
The other thing is, Dana White shouldn't be pushing these guys to come out.
Yeah, the ones offering 10 fight contracts. Like man is what,
That's
37
true
years
too,
old.
yeah.
So I feel like Anderson Silva felt pressure, and I feel some of these fighters feel pressured now, not only from money standpoint, but from the promotion standpoint. Like, hey, we need you guys. We need the star power. We need people. We're losing buys on our pay per view. We need you guys to be on the cards.
Yeah.
So
do you like the 2-year ban?
Yeah, I like it. I think what does MLB have? Like one time it's like 1 year,
50 games.
Yeah, 50 games.
And the second offense is like not a whole season.
And then and the third is like lifetime ban or something like that.
Yeah.
I just think they just need to be consistent. That's what it really comes down to. You can't just pick and choose. Okay.
Yeah, if they say it's a 2-year ban, it doesn't matter if it's Jumbo and Jones
like,
or
you can't fire Matt Riddle and then just have Nick Diaz serve a suspension. Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Or Anderson Silva will just
serve a suspension, but we'll fire.
None of this. All will his doctor kind of accidentally put it? No, he got caught. 2 years. We'll see you in 2 years, bro.
Yeah. So you like that?
I like it. I think 2 years is a good time for punishment because I don't think a fighter loses too much in 2 years. Yeah, I know that's a long span, but for a fighter, I think he can still rebound from 2 years, and it's enough time for him to get clean and
I mean, crazy. Dominic Cruz lost 2 years.
The more I think about it, but Dominic Cruz was still getting paid to be an analyst. Yeah. So these guys don't get paid. Now that I think about it more, 2 years is way too much. Way too much. If you're a first-time offense, it should be about maybe 8 months.
Not right now. It's 9 months, and
8, 9 months. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's about right. But I mean, like if your first time offense 2 years, you're talking about 2 years without a paycheck for some of these guys that don't have side contracts.
On top of that, they're trying to make a statement. That's why I don't think you guys understand that they're trying to get rid of this palm now, not later.
Well, July 1st.
July 1st. So I think by putting that 2-year ban, it kind of scares more fighters into actually trying to. If this really is your main source of income, you'd be like, no, there's no way I can cheat because I'm gonna lose 2 years of good income.
Let's take Anderson Silva. You go to a doctor, he prescribes you something that you didn't do your research on. Now you have a 2-year ban on him, and now
you do your research now.
Yeah.
Well, I see that, but even MLB does like 50 games first. Hey, this is a harsh warning.
How clean is MLB right now?
Still constantly being cleaned up, but I guess looks like July 1st is going to enter the new era of UFC for the uniform starting July. The new PED testing starts in July, so we'll see what else kind of changes. And we'll see what kind of injuries also happen as well, too. Like how many we think it's bad now. Who knows? It might be even worse now. Starting July 1st, how many cars get shuffling around. But I think it's going to be an ever-longing topic we're discussing in the MMA world. If you're part of the MMA community, you talk about PEDs, man. It's going to be insane. Just like baseball now. I think steroids and is a part of the conversation, daily conversation for baseball. So that is it. Stick around. I want to talk about UFC, the UFC's pay-per-view plan, and are they overcompensating for the fans? Or they're trying to make up, say, hey guys, we're sorry. So here's this beautiful gem of a card that proposed to happen. So stick around, guys.
Please visit 5roundmma.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. 5roundmma.com.
Thank you for sticking around. The big news, other than the PED enforcement agency that the UFC is going to implement, was actually going to be involved in the Octagon. UFC 187 was announced. A huge lineup was Memorial Day weekend. John Jones versus Anthony Johnson, Chris Weidman versus Vitor Belfort, Donald Cerrone versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Travis Browne versus Andrei Arlovski, and Joseph Benavidez versus John Moraga. It was just like I think an all-star kind of lineup for the pay-per-view. And I thought initial reaction was like, "Oh, this card's amazing." Was your kind of reaction to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys could main event their own card. I mean, maybe not a pay per view, but maybe their own fight card.
So like after the initial excitement wore off, like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. Something's up. Like this is a really good card for like a pay per view. And then kind of thinking like, wait a minute, was two title fights? Wasn't UFC 184 for that two title fights? But then Wyman got pushed off. And I thought there's a lot of two title fights, and just alone in 2014, the last one, UFC 181, had two title bouts, welterweight and light heavyweight, which is the Johnny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler, and then Gilbert Melendez and Anthony Pettis. Then also UFC 175 had two title bouts, middleweight and women's bantamweight, and UFC 169 had the featherweight and bantamweight. That was on 2014. I did some more research, and 2015 alone, there's I think UFC 187, UFC 184 had two title fights scheduled, but UFC 185, 186, and 189 all have two title fights scheduled for on the pay-per-view cards. So is this UFC's plan now for pay-per-views? Two title bouts every time?
I know we were talking about a little bit before the podcast even started, but now I started thinking of a little bit. I think the route should be that everybody's goal should be to be on the pay-per-view card. So let's stack it up. My point of view, and I think maybe the UFC is going that and use the fight cards to these up and coming guys.
Yeah,
I mean, I know they need to have content in FS1, so let's just. I'm tired of just sitting there for one fight.
Yeah,
let's put those good fights into one big pay-per-view and have these guys work their way to get to these pay-per-view cards.
Starting from last year, we've been saying that these have been watered down cards.
Yeah,
and especially the pay-per-views. I don't know what they're trying to sell by just giving us a match here, match there. And I think now they're trying to see, like, you know what? The pay-per-view game is pretty much our game. If you really think about it,
well, yeah, now the WWE
with the Mayweather Pacquiao fight made, I think after that they're gonna own that pay-per-view game, and I think they really want to stack up those numbers. And I think the good formula here is to have one good main event, a bunch of up and coming fighters for their free fights,
and
then the pay-per-views got to do this stagness here. I mean,
well, I think
I do want to get to one
he
thing
agrees
though.
With me.
The whole John Jones thing. I think a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth after the whole cocaine thing, and I really thought that they're like, you know what? I think a lot of people are going to try to fight us against John Jones.
Are going to buy a John Jones.
And they're like, dude, we're in a stack of cards so much.
The All-American Chris Weidman.
You have no. I mean,
everybody's favorite cowboy, Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, there is no way that you would care that John Jones is on the card.
Everybody's favorite Hawaiian, Travis Brown.
Because the
people are going to be
there.
rooting against John Bon Jones,
Yeah.
but they
but
get to see the American hero, the cowboy Cerrone.
I think you quickly go like, you know what? Forget what happened with John Jones.
If Jason Hendricks is listening to this, will you buy the card now? That Cowboy Cerrone.
He's buying the card.
Tweet us out, Jason. Tag us. MMA. So you don't think like UFC is overcompensating now? This is the plan now. This is apologizing for all the kind of like the subpar free shows now because it's free. Deal with it. You don't watch it. You don't watch it, right?
When you're in the position that they're in, I think you can do two things. You can either milk it or you can now deliver.
Yeah. And
I think UFC's starting to realize, you know what, we have to start delivering because I think people are starting to think that we're just trying to stretch it out as much as possible.
The other thing too is I don't think the numbers were there anyway with only one big fight on these free fight cards.
I didn't see the numbers for the John Jones down at Cormier. If that wasn't like epic, it should have been over the top. Then obviously that was right because that was just the one. That whole card was just the one fight, wasn't it?
Exactly, and I think it's not appealing to some of the people that are the casual MMA fight watchers.
Yeah.
So I think if you start stacking it, oh man, two title fights,
especially the pay-per-views. That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, the free shows. I mean, I think it's understandable to have good fights here and there, but these pay-per-views, I mean, this is supposed to be like your cream of the crop of the month.
Well, I think even go back to Strikeforce and Showtime. Strikeforce had their main cards, but they also had like almost every week it's Strikeforce Challengers, where it was like up and coming guys.
Yeah,
I think it's where you first saw Ronda Rousey on the Strikeforce Challengers card, where it was
Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, it was all for the up and coming guys. So maybe that's the kind of their.
I think that's the right formula too, and I think in the long run, they'll make more money off these pay-per-view if they do
Yeah,
stack them.
they won't charge them up now. You think like with
Oh,
$70 now?
and
I hope
that's
not.
it.
No,
That's
but-
the
and then
only
that's
thing.
the-
yeah.
That's something I fear. If they
Well,
bring
they
up
just
that price,
raise the price too, so
Yeah.
you got to think about it. Will these guys pay? Will the casual fan pay for these pay-per-view cards? I say now they will.
I got
if
so
they stack
much.
it up.
I got so much subscriptions to pay for. I don't know if I can handle this pay-per-view money,
For real.
especially if it's gonna be once a month. That's another subscription right there.
Yeah,
Technically.
and speaking of like these free fight card pay-per-views, you guys may ask, hey, Albert, Alex, Guillermo, what about Bigfoot versus Mir? Isn't that, you guys gonna talk about that? Answer is no.
No,
No,
No.
it's just
Just-
to.
not only that.
It's for the
next
casual
week-
fan too. Oh, like I know who that guy is.
It's in
Maybe
Brazil,
I'll-
it's in Brazil, right? It's in
Yeah.
Brazil, it's
No,
like-
we're not talking about it
maybe
at
I'll
all.
tune
Not
in.
even next week for the results. Doesn't matter. Ain't happening here,
We
bro.
might do a post on Instagram.
Yeah, you
man,
might
so
want to
check
go
it
to
out.
those other MMA shows. You want to hear about Bigfoot, Silva, and Frank Mir. You're gonna hear it here.
Hey guys, that's what it's called.
I really think if you're in the top 10 in your weight class, you should be in the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
And
true.
anybody below that top 10 should be in these fight cards and a notable name here and there.
Yep. So I think that is it for today. Good to see Guillermo back. Contributed greatly to the podcast today. We're kind of Albert and I tend to agree a lot of things, and you're kind of the guy in the middle who kind of splits us
bring
up
it up.
and kind of brings us out the disagreement in all of us, which I like it. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter at 5roundmma. Follow us on Instagram. That's also 5roundmma. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic. Like us on Facebook.
Check us out at
SpectrumVida.com. It's a new lifestyle, sports, entertainment, lifestyle website we're contributing
Yeah,
to.
if you guys kept Googling 5 Round MMA, couldn't find our website no more, there was a reason for this. We had a bigger picture. You can now go to Spectrum Vida for all your 5 Round MMA needs.
Yep. So, and that is it. Albert, take us away.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. I'd like to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Cita, who wasn't producing for a couple of weeks, but he was here.
He wasn't here, but he'll still produce.
Yeah, and our engineer over there, seeing Razzle with Razzle Records. You know we sound good when he's here, and you know when he's not here. Trust me.
Yeah.
And just thank everybody for listening.
oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
Time to get grimy.